Hey guys, it's Alex Dean or Alex with the Ataxia. I'm back here in a very similar spot to where I shot the shower video. For the video today, I want to show the process of how I take a bath. Everywhere that I lived, I always did all of the shower things like I've already shown. When I moved into this house, we installed a lift system in the ceiling back in my bedroom. So I used that to roll back and actually take a bath in my tub back there. I want to show that process for a couple of reasons today. That's been really helpful in not only the pressure situation and that I know I've talked about, but it's also been great as a way to just relax while cleaning off. So I will zoom out and show the overall big picture up in the ceiling and all that. First, I will go ahead and transfer over into bed. I'm currently sitting in a new mold for the cushion, so this transfer will look a little bit different. It's honestly very similar to the way I would transfer over to the toilet. I would just have Audrey come over and may lift up and pivot and drop back onto this sling that is in my bed next to me. And we will talk more after. Having moved the camera, I'm just gonna lean forward and Audrey is gonna come over and we'll do the lift. All right. Cool. So you'll notice that the top of this sling is right at or a little below my head, and there are these color-coded rings that we use to attach the sling to the lift overhead. We'll show you in a minute. Otherwise, I'll have Audrey change my shoes into those shower shoes. Again, yes, I'm just taking a bath. But as I mentioned in the shower video, any contact sets off that reflex, and I don't want that. So we're gonna zoom out and make sure you can see the ceiling and then keep going. I will also note that I normally have a towel in between my body and the bath sling. I've had a bit of an issue with a rash sort of thing showing up with my back against the sling material when I do all the lifts and such. Maybe that's just a personal issue and no worries for anybody else, but just letting you know that's an option that I normally do. But wearing clothes today, that's not really something I felt like I needed. So you see everything now, lift system and the track and all that. What I'm gonna do now is have Audrey bring the lift overhead and hook up the sling so you can see a little bit of that. Alright, so we're hooking the loops into the sling, and it's yellow on top, green on the bottom, correct?
Yep. You can just play around with whatever works for you.
So I'm gonna just raise up now. I often need to lift just to adjust myself, so I'm gonna do that. Alrighty, I'm gonna move in there, but I'll show you one more weird part of the lift overhead that we will deal with. So we're here at this circle junction in the ceiling that you can see to my left or your right, I believe, on the camera, is my toilet. This lift system would go over the toilet. I have different slings to use for that, one with the buttocks area open and things like that. But I certainly don't use that right now. So I'm just gonna go to my right instead. Your left on the screen. I will get in there and talk to you before I lower down into the bathtub. So before I drop into the tub, note that there's a sticky mat down there in the bath that just kind of helps me not slide when I'm lowered into the water during the bath. Then also there's a footrest that I'll put in the description, of course. But it's basically just a wood platform with slits that keeps my ankles from rolling. Finally, behind my head, as you probably see below me, there is a towel. That comes from many dumb experiences slamming my head into the bathtub. All three of those things are super helpful. But my roommate's gonna come in now and help lower me into the bathtub, which obviously does not have water in it today, but either way, here we go. So I'm sitting in the tub now. This is when I would obviously normally do the bathing, getting clean, all that. My roommate or whoever is helping me would help with putting soap on my loofah, stuff like that. I don't often shampoo, though sometimes I do when I'm in the bath. If I need to do something like that, Audrey will help, normally grabbing the shower one that is right next to me, just to get my hair wet, as I obviously can't slide down into the water or anything like that. Otherwise, I just wash off here and then I'll go ahead and lift back up and head back into my bed. I will have to lift up on this thing when I'm done and help her or whoever lift the towel if I put a towel under me like I mentioned earlier, just so we can get that out once I'm up and done with the bath before I get into bed. Also, when I'm hanging out up higher, once I'm all wet, it gets super cold. I have lots of towels to quickly dry off. Just something to keep in mind if you're wanting to replicate something like this at home. So I'm gonna go ahead and raise up. No point in showing all that again. It's just the same thing backward, and then I'll roll in over the bed and pick it back up once I'm in there. Alright, back in bed. Same routine as the shower stuff. So my roommate or whoever's helping me will take off shower shoes, put socks on, pants, underwear, all of that. But before we do all of that, you can probably still see the shower mat underneath me just to keep the bed from getting all wet. I will need to roll over to my right. My roommate will dry off my back and my backside and then pull the shower mat out while I'm over there, as well as the sling. Then I'll roll back over and finish getting dressed. I should note that while up in the air after the bath, I did go ahead and lean forward. I have my roommate pull the towel out from behind me. Wet towel we were talking about. So I will see you next week for what will be the final of this first grouping of videos. I've got plenty other ideas for the next set that will come out, but feel free to let me know if you have things you want me to show. Otherwise, thanks so much for watching this and all of these. Like and subscribe to my channel. And again, I'll see you next week.